Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to do the God-type creatures in the Otherworldly Creature Codex. We only have the God-type creatures and the Devil-type creatures left, and then we will start doing the Creature Codex tournaments along with continuing Eric's solo campaign. So please like, subscribe, and click that noti bell so that you can get notified for all the great new videos to come. Now, with those announcements out of the way, let's go ahead and get this going. Number one is the Heavenly Hound, and here is the Heavenly Hound. And the Heavenly Hound has a Divine Concept level of 5. The Divine Concept level is in the From Peasants to Palaces Deluxe Edition book, available on either the PayHip link is in my YouTube or available on Amazon. Link is also on my YouTube. If the link on my YouTube to the Amazon says that the book is $90, then that means it didn't update like it was supposed to. Just go into Amazon and type in the book and look for it. It should be a reduced price than that because I changed it. And then he's got an armor of 20, health 500, mana 250. And the concept levels, the divine concept levels, are important because they explain all his divine abilities and resistances, etc. Base attack is 10, saves are Fortitude 14, Reflex 10, Will 12, Damage Threshold 25, Size Medium, Speed 60, Modifiers Charisma plus 10, Con plus 11, Dex plus 9, Int plus 9, Strength plus 12, Wisdom plus 9, Creature Type, God/Concept, Skills, Perception plus 10, Survival plus 10, Mana Gathering plus 12, History plus 13, Special Senses, Magical Darkness Sight 60 feet, Abilities, Tracking through Smell, advantage on tracking 3 creatures through the use of smell. Divine Aura, this creature is surrounded in a 30-foot aura. All non-hostile creatures that begin or end their turn within this affected radius regain an amount of health equal to 8d8. Additionally, the first time per 24 hours that this creature would die, it is instead resurrected with half of its health and mana point maximums. Resistances. It's resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, dark, and unholy. Immunities. It's immune to light, lightning, poison, divine, and supernatural. Additionally, it cannot be poisoned or diseased in any way. In addition, this creature is immune to all damage that is not either magical or otherworldly in nature. Regeneration of 30 otherworldly combat points. This creature begins combat with 6 combat points instead of 3, and multi-attack, it can make 2 attacks instead of 1. Bite, target a creature within 5 feet. On a hit, it takes 2d10 damage, and this creature heals for the damage dealt. Bark, all hostile creatures that can hear this creature take 68 damage and become affected by the charmed condition for the next 10 minutes. Divine Burst. This creature lets loose a burst of energy out to a 20-foot radius. All non-hostile creatures within this affected radius regain an amount of health equal to 8d8. Additionally, any hostile creatures within this affected radius take an amount of damage equal to 8d8 and become affected by both the blind and deafened condition for the next 10 minutes. Tactics. This creature always begins with its burst followed by its bark, only using its bite when necessary. Lore. Not much is known about these creatures, for only 3 have ever been seen within the mortal realm over 10,000 years ago, and the legends left behind are either mostly forgotten, lost, or thought to be untrue. Number 2 is the Heavenly Cat. And here is the Heavenly Cat, and the Heavenly Cat has a divine concept level of 3, armor 20, health 300, mana 150, base attack 8, saves fortitude 12, reflex 14, will 10, damage threshold 20, size small, speed 80, modifiers charisma plus 9, con plus 8, dex plus 10, int plus 7, strength plus 7, whiz plus 7. Creature type, God/concept, skills, perception plus 8, survival plus 8, mana gathering plus 9, history plus 9, special senses, magical darkness, sight 60 feet. Abilities, divine aura is the same as the dog's, except it's 68 resistance. It has resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, dark, and unholy. Immunities, light, lightning, poison, divine, and supernatural. Additionally, it can't be poisoned or diseased in any way. In addition, it's immune to all damage that is not either magical or otherworldly in nature. Regeneration of 20 otherworldly combat points. It begins with 5 combat points instead of 3. Multi-attack, 2 attacks instead of 1. Combat, bite, target a creature within 5 feet. On hit, it takes 1d10 damage, and this creature heals for the damage dealt. Claw, target a creature within 5 feet. On a hit, it takes 1d10 damage and becomes affected by the bleeding condition until the end of this creature's next turn. Divine Burst is the same, except it is 68. Tactics. This creature always begins combat by trying to escape. If this is not possible, then it will use its burst followed by either a bite or claw. Lore. All that is known about these creatures is that they are said to appear within dreams in order to deliver visions of the future to come if not stopped. Number 3 is Moses, left hand of Yahweh. And here is Moses, left hand of Yahweh. And Moses has a divine concept level of 12, armor 28, health 1,500, mana 1,000, base attack 13, saves fortitude 15, reflex 13, will 17, damage threshold 40, size medium, speed 150. Creature type, modifiers. I read the wrong one. Modifiers: charisma plus 15, con plus 11, dex plus 13, int plus 10, strength plus 15, wisdom plus 10. Now creature type, God/concept. Skills: perception plus 16, mana gathering 18, athletics 20, acrobatics 20, history 22. Special senses: magical sight 100 feet. Abilities: divine aura is the same except it's a 30-foot radius, and it is 10d8. Resistance to all damage. Immunities: light, lightning, water, poison, divine, and supernatural. Can't be poisoned or diseased in any way, and is immune to all damage that is not either magical or otherworldly in nature. Regeneration of 50. And then he has Yahweh's protection. 3 times per 24 hours, this creature can automatically succeed on any save against danger. Call to Yahweh. This creature has advantage on persuasion, or on persuading any other creature to follow this creature and its beliefs/goals. Additionally, any creature that willingly chooses to follow this creature gains 1 unique ability granted to them by the game organizer, so long as they continue to follow/live by/accomplish this creature's beliefs/goals. Otherworldly combat points. He has 7 combat points instead of 3. And multi-attack. Moses, left-handed Yahweh, can make 4 attacks instead of 1. Combat. Heavenly Sword of Moses. And this is a weapon that can be obtained, or an item that can be obtained, however you want to put it. The wielder of this weapon gains a +5 to all damage dealt with this weapon and all saves against danger, 5 feet, 1d6 magical light plus 1d6 extraordinary. On a hit, the affected creature becomes affected by the bleeding, or the targeted creature becomes affected by the bleeding condition for the next 10 minutes. Additionally, this creature regains an amount of health equal to the damage dealt. In addition, this sword has incorporeal strike, which means it can hit ghosts and incorporeal creatures. Heavenly Robes of Moses. The wearer of these robes gains the following 3 benefits. 1. Anytime this creature would be dealt bludgeoning damage, it instead regains an amount of health equal to the damage that should have been dealt. 2. Anytime this creature would be dealt piercing damage, it instead regains an amount equal to the damage that should have been dealt. And 3 is the same thing except for slashing damage. And then summon Heavenly Hounds and Cats. This creature summons 1d6 Heavenly Hounds and 1d6 Heavenly Cats under its telepathic control. Additionally, these creatures remain until their health is reduced to 0. In addition, whenever one of these creatures' health is reduced to 0, then Moses regains 50 health. Tactics. This creature always begins combat by trying to persuade its enemy that it is non-hostile, and if that creature follows the ways of Yahweh, then it will be blessed greatly. If this does not work, then this creature will attempt to somehow get away. If this does not work, then and this creature is forced into combat, then it will begin by using its sword. I spelled that wrong. SWORD. Followed by its hounds when necessary. I put those in the wrong spot on accident. And using its sword. Sorry about that. I accidentally wrote part of the other guy's lore underneath this one, and then tactics. Lore is Moses, left hand of Yahweh, is said to have once been a mortal man who received a vision from Yahweh, and because of this vision, he decided to spread the word of the God King throughout his life. And thanks to his faith and dedication, upon his death, he was uplifted into the ranks of divinity by Yahweh himself. Excuse me. Number 4 is Jesus, right hand of Yahweh. Because no one else in the tabletop community for years has had the balls to put Jesus in a tabletop game, but I will. And here he is, the badass himself, God of Sin. I've already made an entire free campaign based around him collecting the items of sin, which are the items that were used to crucify him. Link in my YouTube, free to download and play. Divine concept level of 18, armor 32, health 3000, mana 200, base attack 15, saves, fortitude 18, reflex 16, will 20, damage threshold 50, size medium, speed 200, modifiers, charisma 18, con 15, dex 16, intelligence 18, strength 10, wisdom 20. Creature type, God/concept. Skills, Perception plus 18, Mana Gathering 20, Athletics 22, Acrobatics 22, History 20, Special Senses, Magical Darkness, Sight 150 feet. That's supposed to be Magical Sight. I accidentally forgot to erase the darkness. Magical Sight, 150 feet. Edited. Alright, Divine Ability, or Divine Aura for his abilities. His Divine Aura is the same, except it is 10d10. Resistance to all damage. Immunities, light, lightning, water, fire, poison, divine, and supernatural. Additionally, can't be poisoned or diseased in any way. Additionally, can't be damaged in any way except by a source that is magical or otherworldly in nature. Regeneration of 100. Yahweh's Protection. 5 times per 24 hours, this creature can automatically succeed on any save against danger. Call to Yahweh. This creature has advantage on persuading any other creature to follow this creature and its beliefs/goals. This is the same as Moses is, except if you follow Jesus instead of Moses, then you are granted 3 unique abilities, so long as you continue to follow and or live the lifestyle, help achieve the goal, etc. Otherworldly combat points. Jesus has 8 combat points instead of 3, and he has multi-attack of 4, and then combat is Heavenly Sword of Jesus. The wielder of this weapon gains a +5 to all damage dealt with this weapon and to all saves against danger. 5 feet, 1d8 magical light plus 1d8 otherworldly. On a hit, the creature is affected by the paralyzed condition for the next 10 minutes, and this creature gains an amount of health equal to the damage dealt. In addition, this has the sword has incorporeal strike. Heavenly Robes of Jesus. The wearer of these robes gains the following 5 benefits. So the first 3 benefits are the same as Moses. Whenever he would be dealt bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, 1, 2, and 3 respectively, he heals for that amount instead. And then number 4 is anytime this creature would be dealt light damage, he heals instead. And then number 5 is at the beginning of each 24 hours, these robes grow 1d10 tendrils made of light that can either attack another creature or defend this creature. At the beginning of each of this creature's turns, it chooses if it wants to use these tendrils to either attack or defend. If attack is chosen, then this creature can make 1 attack with each of these tendrils for the cost of the same 1 combat point, dealing an amount of damage per tendril equal to 1d6 holy plus 1d6 extraordinary each. If defend is chosen, then this creature gains an amount of temporary health points equal to 100 until the beginning of its next turn. Additionally, these tendrils have a reach of 30 feet. In addition, these tendrils have incorporeal strike. And this is supposed to be magical holy. Magical. Not just regular holy. And then 7 heavenly hounds and cats is the same as Moses, except it's 1d10 and a regeneration of 100 when they're destroyed. Persuade. This creature begins to speak. All creatures that can hear this creature must make a will save against danger set by the game organizer at disadvantage with a -5. On a successful save against danger, the creature is not persuaded. However, it takes 1d10 magical psychological damage. On a failed save against danger, instead of taking damage, the creature is affected by the charmed condition for the next 24 hours. Additionally, this bypasses a creature's resistance and or immunity to the charmed condition. And healing hands. This creature touches 1 creature and heals that creature for an amount of health equal to 2 health points per each 1 mana point spent. spent. Additionally, while using this, any poison or disease may be cured from the creature by being touched for, the creature being touched for an additional 10 mana points per poison or disease. So if you want to heal a creature of a poison and a disease, it would cost 10 mana points for the poison, 10 mana points for the disease, for a total of 20. And then if you wanted to heal it for, say, 10, then it would cost 5 mana additionally. So a total of 25 to heal it for 10 points and heal a poison and a disease. And then tactics, this creature will always begin combat with its persuade. If this does not work, it will try to escape. If escaping does not work, then he will summon his hounds and cats before trying to escape once again. Lore. Jesus' right hand of Yahweh is said to be the son of Yahweh who came down to the mortal realms 10,000 years ago to help mankind follow the word of his father. Many followed him and many hated him for being the child of a god. But in his last moments, upon his crucifixion by his enemies, the very items that they used to end him became blessed with divine power. Now these holy relics have been hunted down and fought over by many for thousands of years. And number 5, the last one for today's video, is Yahweh the Heavenly Lord. And here is Yahweh the Heavenly Lord. Because no one else has the balls to put them in tabletop games. Divine Concept level 21. Armor 50, health 10,000, mana 5,000, base attack 20, base saves, and when I say doesn't have enough balls to put them in tabletop games, I'm referring to any Christian person from history or from the Bible. They got every other religion and every other god inside tabletop games, but no one's got the balls to put Christianity in. Where were we? Armor 50, health 10,000, mana 5,000, base attack 20, base saves, fortitude 25, reflex 20, will 30, damage threshold 1,000, size gargantuan, speed 1,000. Modifiers, charisma plus 50, con plus 45, dex plus 35, int plus 55, strength plus 40, wisdom plus 60. Creature type, god/concept, skills, perception 40, mana gathering 50, athletics 30, acrobatics 30, history 60, special senses, magical sight 500 feet. Abilities. Divine Aura is the same except it's a 60-foot radius and it's 10d20. Resistance to all damage. Immunities. Light, lightning, water, fire, earth, air, poison, divine, and supernatural. Cannot be poisoned or diseased in any way and is immune to all damage that is not magical or otherworldly in nature. Regeneration of 500. Yahweh's Light. 10 times per 24 hours, this creature can automatically succeed on any save against danger. Call of Yahweh. This creature has advantage with a plus 10 on persuading any other creature to follow this creature and its beliefs/goals. It's the same as Jesus and Moses, except it grants 7 unique abilities. Otherworldly size. This creature gains all the benefits and none of the negatives from its size category. Otherworldly combat points. Yahweh has 10 combat points instead of 3. And multi-attack, he can make 10 attacks instead of 1. Combat, Heavenly Spear of Yahweh. The wielder of this spear gains a +5 to all damage dealt with this weapon and all saves against danger. 5 through 1,500 feet. 1d12 magical light plus 1d12 otherworldly. On a hit, the creature becomes affected by the petrified condition. Additionally, this creature regains an amount of health equal to the damage dealt. In addition, this spear has the incorporeal strike. Heavenly Robes of Yahweh. The wearer of these robes gains 7 benefits. So the first 5 are the same as Jesus. 1 is healing whenever hit by bludgeoning. 2 is healing whenever hit by piercing. 3 is healing whenever hit by slashing. 4 is healing whenever hit by light. 5 is light tendrils, except it's 1d20. And then number 6 is at the beginning of each creature's turn, this creature can at the beginning of each creature's turn, this creature can teleport up to 150 feet in any direction of its choice. Additionally, after teleporting to a space, that creature left and everything within it, a 30-foot radius around it, erupts in light. All hostile creatures within this affected radius take 10d10 damage and become affected by the paralyzed condition for the next hour. In addition, if this creature teleports to a space that is already occupied by another creature, then this creature can make 3 attacks against that creature as part of this attack. And number 7 is this creature can take possession of another creature. Additionally, this creature can remain in possession of that targeted creature until that creature's health is reduced to 0. While in possession of another creature, this creature can either use that creature's game statistics or its own. In addition, after this creature leaves that creature's body, then that creature becomes more susceptible to this creature's persuasion for the next 30 days. Summon Heavenly Hounds and Cats is the same as Jesus, except it's 1d20 Heavenly Hounds and 1d20 Heavenly Cats, and if either of them are destroyed, it's a regeneration of 500. Persuade is the same, except it's at disadvantage with a -10, and on a successful save, the creature is persuaded for the next 24 hours, and on a failed save, the creature becomes charmed for the next 30 days. And this bypasses resistance or immunity to the charmed condition. And then Heavenly Healing Hands. This creature touches one creature and heals that creature for an amount of health equal to 100 points for each 1 mana spent on this. Additionally, while using this, any poison or disease can be cured from the creature being touched for an additional 1 mana point. And then tactics, this creature always begins combat with its persuade before walking away, for it does not have the time for the squabbles of mortals that do not follow his work. Lore. Not much is known about this creature within the world and realms of Voidheart, for it is said that he is the creator and god king of the newly discovered world called Earth. Thank you all. Like, subscribe, and share this so that everyone can use these in their game, and join us for more. The next will be the last of the otherworldly creatures, and those will be the devil creatures. Thank you all, and I hope you have a nice day.